Have you ever looked at a design and just felt like something was off? You can't quite put your finger on it, but it just doesn't work. Well, today we're going to decode the invisible force that makes or breaks any design: typography.
Okay, let's start with a classic example. Take a look at this. Everything is technically there, right? But with no clear priority, all the text is just screaming for your attention at once. It turns into this confusing wall of text, and honestly, the message gets totally lost.
You know, you could have the most amazing colors, perfect alignment, the whole deal, but when the text itself is confusing, the entire design just falls flat. It's a super common stumbling block. And this quote really hits the nail on the head. Great typography isn't just about picking a font that looks cool. It's the backbone. It's the skeleton that gives your entire message its structure and its strength.
So let's break that down. What exactly is typography, and why is it the secret weapon behind pretty much every great design you've ever seen?
So in simple terms, it's how we bring text to life. Good typography doesn't just sit there on the page. It actively guides the reader's eye, it sets a mood, and it makes even really complex ideas easy to digest.
And this slide illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got that before state, that confusing wall of text we talked about. But on the right, you can see the goal. A clear hierarchy tells you exactly what to read first. The main heading is big and bold, the paragraph is easy to read. It just works.
All right, to really talk like a pro, we need to get a couple of key terms straight, and these are the ones that people mix up all the time.
First up, typeface. The easiest way to think about this is like a family name. So for example, Roboto is a typeface. It's the overall design style of all the letters.
A font, then, is a specific member of that type family. It's a particular style, like Roboto Bold or Roboto Italic. It has a specific weight and size. So, to put it simply, a typeface is the whole family, like Roboto. The fonts are all the individual family members, Roboto Bold, Roboto Regular, and so on. You choose a typeface family, and then you use the different fonts to build your design.
Okay, so one of the first and most important choices you'll make is picking between two major categories of typefaces.
On the left, we've got serif fonts. See how they have those little decorative strokes at the ends of the letters? Some people call them feet. Now on the right, you have sans serif. And sans literally means without in French. So these are fonts without those little strokes. They have a much cleaner, more modern look.
Serif fonts, they tend to feel more traditional, a little more formal. They've been the go-to for print, like in books and newspapers, forever. And that's because those little feet actually help guide our eyes across long lines of text on a physical page. Kinda cool, right?
Sans serif fonts, on the other hand, just feel clean, modern, and minimalist. Their crisp, simple shapes are way easier to read on digital screens, which is exactly why you see them everywhere on websites, in apps, and on logos today.
So how do you choose? Well, it really comes down to this. What's the medium? This chart sums it up perfectly. If you're designing for print, serif is often a great choice. But if you're designing for a digital screen, sans serif is almost always going to be your best bet.
Okay, so we've got the foundations down. Now let's dive into two simple but super powerful rules that will instantly make your designs more readable and way more professional.
The single most important rule is to create a clear visual hierarchy. All this means is you're telling the reader's eye where to look first, second, and third. You're making the important stuff impossible to miss.
And you really don't have to overcomplicate it. A simple 3-level system like this works wonders. Your main heading gets top priority, subheadings are secondary, and the body text is your base level. This creates a clear path for the reader's eye to follow effortlessly.
So we know how to create hierarchy with different font weights and sizes, but what about combining completely different typefaces? Well, that brings us to our second big rule, where a little bit of restraint goes a very long way.
So what's the magic number? It's 2. As a solid rule of thumb, try to stick to a maximum of 2 typefaces in a single design. Why? Because any more than that, and things can start to look really chaotic and unprofessional fast.
Yeah, using too many typefaces just creates visual noise. Sticking to 1 or 2 ensures your design looks cohesive and intentional, not like a happy accident. And here's a great pro tip. For a super clean look, you don't even need a second typeface. Just use different weights like bold and regular from the same family. So, let's put this all together. These aren't just some abstract concepts. They are practical tools, a toolkit really, that you can start using right now to make your designs better.
And here it is, your 4-step checklist. First, know your medium. Is it digital or print? Second, pick the right kind of typeface for it. Third, build that clear hierarchy. And fourth, remember the 2-font rule. Following these simple steps will dramatically improve pretty much any design you create.
And here's the really cool part. Once you start noticing good and bad typography, you can't unsee it. Seriously, it's everywhere. So go out there, take a look around, and ask yourself, what are you going to create with this new power?